So, in regards to off the back of you talking about being gig ready,
Mhm,
can you talk to me more about, in more detail, about vocal stamina,
mhm.
what that means, and what that actually involves? So, exercises, techniques, what does that include in terms of vocal stamina as a vocalist?
Yeah. Okay. So this is going back down to your voice is completely individual. Okay. So if we just go back to that whole idea of a voice is made up of everything that's come before in its life. Okay. And that will include vocal stamina and its fatigue points. So basically, you can have singers that they've got like vocal folds of steel and they sing all the time because it's like going to the gym. Okay, because that's all it is. It's muscles and it's muscle tone, muscle coordination. It's do they make sensible like song choices? Do they make sensible health choices? Is there any existing injuries there? Kind of you're looking at the person, and this is where it is like with any training, there is no one size fits all. So say if you've got a reasonably healthy singer, okay, whose vocals are quite healthy and that they sing like every day, okay. So say or say they don't. So let's say how you want to get somewhere. I've not gigged for a long time, okay, but I know it takes me about 3 to 4 weeks to get gig ready to be able to do 245s. Okay, and that's quite a long time, but that's because I have to do it alongside teaching and I have to maintain a teachable voice while I'm singing. And when I say gig ready, that's to my standard, to what I would be willing to go out and be seen
Mhm.
like, Um, because I don't sing like that anymore. I don't sing songs. I could do anything on one note. There's a joke, right? Okay, I could do anything on one note. You want me to demonstrate that? That's fine. Don't make me sing a song, okay? But do not have the stamina for that's like I'm not.
Sing me Evanescence
Oh,
right
yeah,
now.
yeah. Okay. But it is that thing of it is a completely different stamina to talk all day and to sing and like I could teach belting for most of the afternoon and talk all the way through and kind of go through and then I'll work with like an opera singer or I'll work with whoever I'm working with. I've got the stamina for that, but I don't have the stamina to add practicing sets on top of that. Okay, so I have to build myself up to that. So if you've got a singer and they are singing every day. Okay, so if we take like a typical person who they come in, they finish work, and they just go and sing for the whole evening. Okay, and they can hack that, and their voice is handling that. They're going to have a much healthier kind of approach to stamina building than someone who doesn't sing very much, who then might sing once a week, but do 6 hours worth of practice on a Sunday or something you know so what we need to do is you need to start thinking about it as it's an exercise. Okay, it's exercise. You need to build your stamina carefully, and this does include your song choices. Okay, so in an ideal world, if I kind of had all the time in the world and I could run alongside someone for a whole week,
Mhm.
I would be looking at the key choices to make sure the keys are efficient for them. Okay, because our aim is to make this as comfortable as possible while still sounding as good as possible. So we look at the key choices, we look at the order within the sets. Okay, so you need to make sure I talk about A and B lists. Okay, so my A list are your A games, so you're like your big belters. Okay, and then your B lists are your, I don't want to say basic, I sometimes say basic, but your backups or your more basic. I'm just gonna go for basic. Okay, so your B list, okay. But if you're building 245s, really
Your
70
A-list are like your comfortable pair of slippers.
they are. They are. But I'd say 70% of your set list should be B list songs.
Yeah.
You don't want to have to be working because the thing is, particularly when you're going out in the first place, you're going to be dealing with nerves and anxiety. And for some people, that doesn't really go. It's just how they manage it. Okay, so it is that little bit of you're not going to want to go out and do a 45 minutes of Whitney Houston followed by Jessie J and Celine Dion and all these different things like that. Yeah, just I just think that'd be a really weird set list. But yeah, just
I mean, that would be a diva and a half
that'd be a
set list,
diva.
I'll
Yeah,
give
so,
you
so
that.
okay, so like diva list. So I've got a few singers that do divas. Okay,
Mm.
they've got actual kind of showcase that they go out and like this is like a cab of just diva songs, and particularly the ones that do like the parks or do the ships. Like it
Mm.
is they you expect a stuff. Yeah, so it is hard. So you've got your A list and your B list, and you need to be looking at the right songs in the right key, and that you're making sensible choices how you put them together. So that's part of it. So that is part of your bits and pieces. I would then be looking at the songs and making sure that they're actually getting them the way you want to. So there's a long process getting someone gig ready. It's not just like, oh, by the way, I decide tomorrow I'm going to gig. It is like we need to actually, we're training for something, okay? Because again, we're looking at protecting dignity, and we're looking at protecting voices, and we're looking at actually getting people to a standard, that they aren't going to get heckled, So
Yeah.
and limit that as much as possible. So we then, once we've got the sets up together, we're looking at how to make that technique as efficient as possible. Okay, so where are the problem areas in it? We go through, iron out. That bit needs a bit more support. That bit needs a little bit more twang. That bit needs more shaping. Like we do that. But you think, how long does it take to work on a song, man? Like it is literally like that's a long time. So, but we run them alongside each other. That's even before we get into stamina building. Okay, so I will have my singers do their warm-ups. So in my vocal program, I've got a lot of my professionals that will use those daily. So even if they're not singing, okay, so they will do their warm-ups, they'll do their technical work before they sing. If they've got heavy vocal days, they will do less within that, because you could remember vocal load and your vocal energy for a day. You don't want to kind of expend yourself. So I get them to make sure they're warming up and that they're paying attention to their voice, because that's for a couple of things. That is to reinforce the technical training and the kind of the stamina building within that. They're building themselves to a standard to be able to do X amount of minutes of those warm-ups a day, but also to create that baseline. So that baseline of what is your voice able to do, so if you're doing those warm-ups daily and suddenly you're not getting as high as you were before, or there is a quality change, or there is something, you've got that baseline of this is who I am on an average day. And that is, again, that's going to be from a vocal health perspective, when you need to take action, you need to look at what's going on, what's actually happened within your body to kind of affect that. Okay, so then as you go through, we are doing your warm-ups, you're doing your stretches, and then you start to make sure you're practicing your set. And if you've got to get yourself to the fitness of 245, so let's just go for a 45, right? 45, that's your first milestone. You're not going to be able to do 45 without showing fatigue points, okay? You might have a singer that comes in, they can sing 6 songs and they'll be completely fine. Yeah? You might have a singer that can sing half a song and they're flagging, okay? Because remember, vocal health is all to do with the body, okay? And it is, and the mind, if you're working with women where they are in their cycle, okay? What stamina you have at the beginning of your cycle as opposed to the end of your cycle is completely different, okay? How hot is it outside, okay? How hydrated are you? So it's teaching your singers all these different factors and how to maintain it, because being a professional singer and having a reliable voice, it's nothing to do, excuse me, it's nothing to do with never having voice issues. It's how you manage them and how you work against them. So we need to figure out where your singer is right now. What can they tolerate? Okay. What does their voice want to do right now? How does it behave? What happens if they sing half an hour? What happens the next day? Okay. Do we need to do it and break it up and go, okay, right, so we've got our efficient technique in, or we're trying to be as efficient as possible. Then you are working on the set. Can you maintain that efficient technique for 10 minutes worth of singing? Can you do that with 10 minutes worth of singing, where one of those songs is Valerie? Let's go back to Valerie. And one of those songs is I Want to Dance with Somebody. Yeah? Can you do it when it's 2 B-list songs? Can you do it when it's B-list song and an A-list song and a B-list song and a bigger A-list song? Can you maintain that? Because as you well know, singing 45 minutes of B-list songs feels completely different than singing 45 minutes of bangers, okay?
Yeah.
So we are just slowly trying to build their stamina and their tolerance, because that's what it is, it's tolerance, okay? And also then maintaining the vocal health. Do they suddenly get swollen? What's happening now? Those vocal folds are swollen. What do they do next? Do they then know how to do their recovery routines? Do they know how to take that swelling down? Do they know about vocal rest? Vocal naps, rather than complete vocal rest. So that's the other thing that you've got to bear in mind. When someone starts ramping up their training, they're going to misfire. They're going to push too hard. They're going to hurt themselves. They're going to slip on notes. They're going to set themselves back. Do they then know that they can pull back and then get up there? but there is no one size fits all for building stamina. So you
Mhm.
have to start with small chunks, see what they can tolerate, and then increase it. It's like going to the gym, thinking about
Yeah.
reps. Okay,
Yeah.
so it's like what I say with my vocal program. So my vocal program has got, like, if you've got the soprano disc, you're going from, I say disc like it's still a CD, my digital download, goes from B3 to C6. Okay, that is ultimate goals. Okay, that is like you go into the gym and you're looking at an exercise machine, and your exercise machine says that you could technically, I don't know how high they go up to, or like, so say like £400 or whatever. I don't think I would do, but like say £300. Okay, that you could bench press that. Okay, but you're not going to go straight in with that. You're going to go with what you can tolerate. You might be on the little 5 kilo ones. Okay, because that's what your body can tolerate and that's what you need. And that's what I want you to explain to your singers is, if you're going to ramp up and you're going to build your stamina, we need to do it based on what you can tolerate, not based on what your friend can do. Your friend's suddenly gone out gigging and they can survive. Because if they're coming off stage and their voice is husky, or they're clearing their throat a lot, or their voice goes halfway through a set, they're not managing that. They're not tolerating that. If they're waking up the next day and their voices are husky and they're starting to get gravelly tones in their voice, okay, they're not tolerating that. And that is actually where there is more of a vocal health intervention that we need to put in place. So I'm not saying you're not going to feel a bit used after you've done 245s, 345s, or multiple shows in a day. But there is a difference between coming off and actually being really, really kind of injured.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, no, I get that. And as you say, it's relating it to the gym is quite a good one, because it's one thing to kind of push, either go up a weight or push 2 more reps or 5 more reps and have that ache
Mm-hmm.
and that little bit of muscle burn where you're like, oh, okay, I'm feeling that. But you know what? Give it a stretch, give it half an hour of like just gentle movement and it'll sort itself out.
Mm-hmm.
Versus, literally overstretching or,
Yeah.
overdoing it and then getting to a point where you're having to go to a sports massage therapist and get
Yeah. Are you actually
straps
going to
and
need to go and do some
whatnot.
recovery work? That's it. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
absolutely. Or physio for a strained
Yeah,
muscle or
yeah,
disc or whatever.
yeah.
So yeah, and it's exactly the same, even more so with the voice, because you can't necessarily always feel or know.
No, and sometimes it is. What does it feel like the next day? And it is. I've had it before where, in myself as well, I don't realise how much I've done or what I've done to myself until I go to try and sing the same thing the next day and I can't. You know, it's like, ooh, ooh.
Yeah.
And to a certain extent, you need to go and experience that so you can learn it. Like, I don't think there is any other way that you can do that without actually maybe going too far and then going, well, that was too far. You need to learn
Mm.
your limits. It's like when I work with people and they want to like increase like their belt, or they want to put more aggressive vocals in, or they want to build their strength and stamina. I always say to them, like, this comes with a little bit of a caveat that you probably are going to hurt yourself, because you are going to, while you're learning how to belt, while you're learning how to do these like kind of higher voices or more pressured voices, you're not going to nail that straight away perfectly every time. And you need to a certain kind of state, actually make those mistakes so you know what not to do,
Mhm.
you know. But that's why I will always say to people, don't go and book that gig before you know you're ready, you know, because you don't know how long it's going to take you. You don't know if you're going to suddenly get a cold, or you're going to have a wobble, or you're going to have like a little bit of a mentee bee about never singing in front of anyone again, you know,
Mhm.
because that will happen. You'll get to, oh, well, no one will ever want to listen to me anyway. Oh, I sound dreadful. I have that from people who've had careers longer than I've been alive, you know. So yeah, but yeah. So that's it. There's no one size fits all, and I would say you need to figure out what they can tolerate and then build slowly from there. Gym analogy all the way.
Brilliant.
Is that cool? Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
that helps. Thank you.
All right.